That. Another thing I'm excited about, we got a Boston native on the line, now representing North Carolina. He's got a great project out. It's a different project that caught me by surprise. I didn't hear any words, and there was a reason behind that. I didn't hear any words because that was the purpose of the project. But it's my man, Craig Powe on the line. What's going on, brother?
What's up, yo?
So, brother, man, what you been up to? How's it? How you living? How you doing? How you feeling?
I'm doing great. I'm here in North Carolina, where God resides.
Oh, okay. So God doesn't live in New England.
I'm out here with Pastor Eddie and the World Overcomers crew, and I'm having a great time.
So let's talk about this project, man. First, let's talk about the project title, Tenfifteen. That's a unique title in of itself, man. Why Tenfifteen? Why were you going with that title of the album?
I mean, plain and simple, it's my birthday, October 15th. But, more than that, I believe, I was born with a purpose. So, for years, I've kind of been the man behind projects, the producer and stuff, and God really spoke to me this year to really step out. And if I'm going to step out, I feel like I want to step out on an instrumental project, which is my music. I thought that would be a center point for me. So that's why it's called Tenfifteen.
Okay. Now, you said something specific because it caught me by surprise, and I was saying, I was like, yo, I think I was trying to download the wrong track because there was no words to this track. And I was like, maybe I'm not supposed to be dropping that one. Now, why? I mean, because you've done other projects, which, you've done lead vocals on, and you've done, a lot of production. Why'd you choose to step into a lane where a lot of, artists really aren't stepping into?
Well, I mean, there are cats who do instrumental albums,
right?
Like Kurt Whalum and Ben Tankard.
Right. But,
a lot of times when I've done the past projects, it's not been something that I, per se, wanted to do. Like, I love the CK and the Soul Collectors album, but my brother talked me into that. Big Easy bullied me into doing that joint.
He has a way with doing that.
So, I thought it was a great album, but I wanted to do something that really kind of showed what I love, what my first love was. And my first love is just playing, man. There's a lot of talented musicians up in Boston that I've had the pleasure of playing with.
Right.
And I learned a lot of stuff from these cats. And from my Bishop Charlie's Angels days on down.
Wow.
I had a lot of musical ideas that I just wanted to share with people.
I heard they're touring in senior citizen residents now. Bishop Charlie's Angels, they're on tour. Did you hear that?
What did you say? Who's on tour?
Bishop Charlie's Angels, they're touring at senior citizen residencies now.
This is the crack session.
I was just saying, there was a reason why you said you were done with Boston. Like the transition, let's talk about, just you've been in New England for a long time, and you transitioned into North Carolina, which is like the church capital of the United States of America. What were some of the differences between what you've done up here, creatively, musically, and some of the things you're doing down there?
Well, I mean, first off, man, I love Boston, man. Boston will always be in my heart. I come back there, go to Stashes, get my steak bomb and my chicken Caesar wrap. Gotta have that. But it was hard in Boston for musicians just in general because there's so many different kind of people there. And I have to be honest and say the gospel scene is, not one of the most popular scenes in Boston. So if you're a gospel artist and you're trying to live for God and be behind the music, it's a little rougher up there to make a living off of that. Once I came down here, it was exactly the opposite. Man, you got gospel radio stations. Right. People love gospel.
Right.
And people love listening to gospel music. So the transition was great for me.
Right. So was there a limo waiting for you right when you got off the plane and then they took you to
church?
Not at
all.
No?
Not at all. When I first got down here, I was considering taking me a little security job or something just to get by. But, man, over time, man, it was funny. When I went to World Overcomers, the theme was favor. And, man, I walked in the door, and I didn't know what was going to be next for me because I had made a huge transition to come down there.
Right.
But, man, God's favor really just took over.
Right.
And like he has done in the past, took good care of me.
Right. So what really inspires you as an artist? Where does your creativity come from? Because, having experienced some of it, you're the kind of guy where, what's good one day to you, 10 minutes later, you're not interested in anymore. And all the listeners, they're just like, yo, that's hot. Nah, it's not. I'm going to tweak that. about six or seven times.
That's Boston.
That's Boston?
That's Boston. Because Boston, I mean, Boston is challenging, man. Boston is very competitive.
Mm-hmm.
You know, one minute you have something hot, but then the next minute there's somebody who comes out with something harder. So you always got to continue to push yourself. Some of the most talented people I've ever met was in Boston.
Okay, cool.
Because I mean, it's a birthplace for gospel talent.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But I mean, it's so that pushes you to push yourself.
Right. So what are you've been in the game for a while now, so what are some of the things that you've learned that you would really pour into brothers who are really trying to get their stuff established, really trying to perfect their craft? What are some of the things that you've learned that you would share with them?
I mean, number one, just be humble, man. Be humble at whatever you do. Maybe I was a little too humble because I never liked to be in the spotlight. But be humble, man. You should never not be able to do a venue or do something because you're too arrogant or you're too into yourself. You should be able to do everything. I remember when I first started working with you, Rob.
Right.
Dude, I hated, gospel hip-hop. I just didn't like it.
Mm-hmm.
And, I couldn't see myself doing it, man. But after me and you started talking and chatting, and, I learned from you and learned from the style you were doing. It wasn't as whack as other cats I've heard. Is that okay if I say that?
It's okay, as long as you don't name drop.
I got a name drop. But I kind of got familiarized with what you were doing, and I was willing to learn.
Right.
And I think all musicians should be willing to learn.
Right.
Producers should be willing to learn. Don't just get stuck in one style.
Right. So let's talk about this album. What really inspired this project for you to say, okay, creatively, I really want to really push the envelope a little bit? Because I've heard the Ben Tankins, I've heard the Kirk Whalums, and I've heard some of your stuff, and it's totally different from theirs. It has a different sound to it, if you will. Now, I just really want to touch in on what inspired you to really create the way that you created this album.
Well, I think what you're going to hear on this album is stuff that the people who have heard me, which is mostly Boston cats, the people who have heard me have heard this stuff all along. Whether it was doing an intro for Inez or doing a intro for Bishop Charlie's Angels.
Right.
It was just, stuff that I thought I was doing that was just like, intro ideas. But cats would come up to me and be like, yo,
that was a hot intro.
That sounds tight. That sounds crazy, dude.
Right.
So I'm just taking these ideas that I've done all along and just putting them on the album.
So what's in the future for Powe fam, Craig Powe, everything that you're trying to do? What's in the future for you?
Wherever God takes me, that's where I want to go. I mean, I'm finally at the position where, I'm not afraid. God, you want me to walk into a door, I'll go into it. So, I can't really define and tell you exactly where I'm going to be. I know the album's going to drop. I know I'm going to continue writing. I don't know about the singing thing, though. But I'm going to continue writing songs and continue working with different artists.
Right.
But you know what? I'm open at this point, and I don't think I've ever been here before.
Wow.
But I'm totally open to what God has for me.
Right. So how can we keep in touch with what's happening with you, man? How can people connect? Websites, contacts? How can we do that?
Well, right now you can just go to Facebook. I'm on Facebook all the time, Facebook and Twitter. But you can go to my Facebook, Facebook.com/PoweFam. And you can kind of get all the information that you need. I'm also on Reup Nation, but you can get there from the Facebook page. So if you want to see what I'm doing, you just go to that Facebook.com/PoweFam page, and you can find out everything.
All right, sir. So I appreciate that, man. Could you debut this track, let the folk know what it is, and just intro this track for us, sir?
All right. Thanks a lot, man.
So what's the name of this track we're about to play? And
the track we're about to play is Tenfifteen. It's an instrumental, so there's no lyrics involved. The joint is fire. You're supposed to feel like you're in a movie somewhere, and I hope you enjoy it.
I appreciate the calling, man. We'll have you back on definitely when you're back in the area. Hopefully we can get you for a live interview, because I know that would be something spectacular, and especially if Big Easy is a part of the process.
Big Easy.
Make sure you tell Cameo I said what's up.
All right, Jeff.
All right, man. Appreciate it.
All right, peace.
All right, peace. So here's a new track by my dude. This track actually playing in the background. That's also produced by CK with Powe fam. So it's a new track. Tenfifteen Powe fam. Holla at him. Facebook.com/ youtube.com/PoweFam. Check them out. It's a new joint. You can download the track right now. The track is available for download on the Powe Fam Reverb Nation page. It's hot, something different. You're going to hear it here a lot more. But here's 1015 by Powe Fam CK Pro. You know what it is. It's the Reup.